Hello everybody, we are in Paris and we are living in this small studio. We've got here a digital piano that we can practice, and I got an idea to make a review of this piano. As you maybe know, I own a Kawai CA-67 digital piano and an older model Kawai CN24. So this review will be kind of comparison between those models and between Yamaha CLP 545 that we have here. If you would like to see a video about my Kawai CA-67 digital piano, just click on the link below and you can watch it. So now let's have a closer look to the digital piano Yamaha Clavinova CLP 545. You can see we have here a wooden cabinet, white, standard hammer action, 88 keys, wooden keys. We will talk about it later. The surface of the keys is quite nice. It's not slippery. They call it synthetic ivory, and here you have it on both white and black keys. The piano has two main grand piano sounds. The first is Yamaha CFX grand piano, and the second one is Bösendorfer Imperial. We have also here some electric piano sound, organ sounds, string, bass, and others like harpsichord, etc. The piano has a standard selection of functions that I don't have to explain here. When I started to play this piano, I felt kind of disappointed because I think I have much better experience from my CA-67 Kawai digital piano, and I have expected something better quality, better sound. When we were rehearsing here with my partner, she said, "Don't bang the piano doesn't have any sound anyway." First of all, I don't like the sound of this piano. It has only 2 speakers. My Kawai CA-67 has 6 speakers. I know that it's slightly more expensive piano, but anyway, Yamaha should have done something different. In addition to 2 speakers, I feel that there is a problem with the sounds of the grand pianos. The Yamaha CFX is for me very aggressive, and the Bösendorfer Imperial is something very mellow. I feel I can't control the piano so well, and something is missing in both sounds. I feel that they are very electronic and they are overprocessed.
Electronic, supersonic.
Very close to the topic of sound is the action. The action is hammer action, standard Yamaha, that is used in many 500 models, like 545, 565, 75, I think even in 85. Yamaha says that this action is a wooden action, but I can tell you that it's a plastic action with small glued pieces of wood. So it's not full wooden action. For me, as for a professional pianist, this action has several flaws. The first problem is that the first pivot of the action is very close to the keys. So it doesn't feel natural, it doesn't feel as a real grand piano, it feels more like an upright. The short distance to the pivot makes the piano softer, but in the same time harder, and it leads to less control of the sound. This action is actually folded action, so the key doesn't go all the way to the piano, but it's folded under the key. The lever, the weight is under the key, and I think it has a bad effect on the play and on the touch. So which one to choose today for the concert? The second problem, and probably the biggest problem of this piano, is that it registers the stroke earlier than normal grand piano. With every grand piano you have thing that is called aftertouch. You press the key slowly and you see that the key stops, but when you press the key more and faster, the sound should still come. But at this piano, it doesn't. Instead of that, you have to press the key a little bit more to make the sound, but not on the aftertouch position. This is a very big problem because the piano registers the stroke earlier, so it is not compatible with modern grand pianos and even with modern upright pianos. I would also say that it is dangerous, and I wouldn't recommend to anybody to practice this kind of piano. To play this piano, it is like touching an open wound. It feels too direct and too uncontrollable, too sensitive. And it's not natural. This is not how a real grand piano acts. I was so picky about the action on my Kawai CA-67, and I thought that some notes, some keys are a little bit louder, etc. But this action is quite loud. Listen. It is much louder than my Kawai CA-67, and I would say it's on par with Kawai CN24, which is much cheaper piano. Alright, so we have got a Steinway, but now which chair should we pick? What I like here, same as I like on my CA-67, is that the control panel is actually on the side. It's not in the middle. I think when it's in the middle, it's extremely disturbing. If you look at the case of the piano, you can see some gaps. Of course, some gaps are because of the sound, because the piano has only 2 speakers, so the sound comes also from those gaps. But you can also see some gaps that are really unwanted, and I don't think so it's because of the assembly. You can see the lack of some quality on the pedals, and I'm really not used to this. Of course, it's cheaper piano, kind of, so the pedal doesn't feel so well, so natural. they feel quite mushy, like you are really pressing a spring, but they are also really wobbly, and that's not cool thing. They also sound a lot. As a pianist, I can tell you that I'm quite disappointed with this piano. First of all, I don't like the two piano sounds, both of them, because they are slightly different, but they are the same.
Same, but different, but still same.
I can't control so much the sound, and I can't express myself well. I think the sounds are overprocessed and they are not up to par with a real grand piano. Secondly, I think the action is not natural, and I think it can be also dangerous for people that want to play on the real grand piano, because it doesn't feel as grand piano and it doesn't act like a grand piano. At the end, I would like to tell you that this review is only my personal opinion, and everybody could have different opinion, so I'm sure that you can find people who love Yamaha digital pianos, but unfortunately it's not me. Thank you for watching and have a great time.